Hey guys, welcome to another craft break here at Plaid. I am Bianca, and as always, we will be doing a really fun and simple Mod Podge project together. But today we wanted to highlight some of our surfaces, and those are our wooden letters, which come in 5 inches and in 8 inches. Today I will be working with the smaller letters, and I'll talk about these a little bit more as we go through the project, but the supplies that you will need for this project are first, of course, these wooden letters. You're also going to need some scrapbook paper. You're going to need Mod Podge. Today I will be using our gloss formula. So I'll show you the bottle really quickly. You're also going to need some wooden beads. Oh, we'll grab that one. So you're going to need some wooden beads. You will also need some twine. And in addition to that, you will need some fake greenery. You're also going to need some scissors, a paintbrush, and a pencil. And then you will also need a little bit of paint. And today I will be using some of our pastel apple barrel colors, and we will go through these as well once we get to the step in the project that involves the paint. And last but not least, you will also need a surface to apply your letters to. So we are going to create a home sign that you can use to decorate your home with for spring. So I have chosen to go with this wooden paddleboard. These are typically used for like charcuterie boards or for breadboards, but I have been seeing these used as decorative home pieces lately. So I thought that this would be a really creative way to use it. So we are going to recreate this project. So I have a slightly different board here, but it should come out just the same. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to get started. If you guys have any questions as we go along, please feel free to ask them and we will get your questions answered. So the first step for this project is to grab your wooden letters. So I have the letters H-O-M-N-E because we are going to spell out the word home. So I've actually already gone ahead and pre-covered some of these. So I've covered our M and our H with our scrapbook paper and Mod Podge, but we're going to do the E together. And actually are not going to cover the O with the scrapbook paper because if you notice in the sign that I just held up, it was actually a wreath. So we're going to turn the O into a wreath, but we're going to cover our E with our scrapbook paper and our Mod Podge. So to do this, you're going to flip your scrapbook paper over and you're going to grab a pencil and you're going to trace out your letter, and then we are going to cut it out. So this part is fairly quick and easy.
I was going to say, it seems pretty simple.
Yeah, super quick, super simple. So we're just going to trace this. All right, so let's go around here. And again, if you didn't catch that earlier, these are our 5-inch letters. We do have some bigger ones, and I'll pull those out towards the end here just so you can see the size difference. And I also have some signs and some other projects behind me that I'll pull out as well so that you can get some inspiration and have some cool project ideas to think about if you guys would like to purchase these and create your own sign. Alrighty, so we have our E traced out. We're going to grab some scissors and cut it out. Again, like I said, if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask them. If you have any projects that you are currently working on for Easter or for spring, and you guys want to share them, let us know. I love hearing what you guys are working on and any ideas that you have. All right. So this part is fairly simple. Once you cut out your first letter, you're just going to repeat this step for your remaining letters. You do not have to turn your O or any other letter that you're going to be using into a wreath. So if you choose not to go with the wreath, of course you would cut out all 4 of your letters. But we're just going to go with these 3 today. All right. And, you know, try to cut out your letter as best as possible, but if it's not absolutely perfect, that is totally fine. You can trim it up and edge it up once you have it laid onto your surface letter. You can even use a small piece of sanding paper if you need to clean it up, but don't stress about cutting it out too perfectly. Just try to get it as close as you can. All right, so we have our letter cut out. I am going to grab our Mod Podge and we are going to apply this onto our letter E. So I am using the gloss formula. If you have matte at home, that works just as well. I decided to go with the gloss today because I feel like the last few projects we've done, they were matte. And I wanted to give this project a little bit of shine, so I decided to go with the gloss today. So we are just going to add a medium layer of Mod Podge onto our letter. We don't want to overdo it, but we also want to make sure that we have enough so that our paper stays down. All right, that looks good. So we're going to grab out our cut letter and we're going to lay it right on top of the surface. When you do this part, make sure that your fingertips are clean. I did leave some paint marks on my letters when I was making this project, so just make sure your fingers are clean so that you don't mess up your pretty letters. All right, so if you have a little bit of excess paper hanging off, like I said, you can grab your scissors and you can just kind of trim around it. Let's flip this over. I actually think this is pretty good, but we'll flip it over and we'll see. I actually don't have much excess paper at all, so I actually did pretty good.
Nice.
Yeah. But like I said, use your scissors. You can even use a small piece of sanding paper to clean it up if it is too tight for your scissors to kind of get into these crevices. So that is how you cover your letters. We are going to move on to our O surface, and I will show you how you can turn this into a fake wreath / bird's nest. So I've gone ahead and I have pre-painted this letter with our apple barrel true green. And I would suggest painting it green because there might be some spots that are left open and we don't want them to look like raw wood. I also would not suggest covering it with the scrapbook paper because you don't want to see that scrapbook paper through the leaves and the greenery that we're going to be adding onto this surface. So I would suggest painting it green to help camouflage it a little bit better. So again, I've already gone ahead and painted this and I used the apple barrel true green. So the next step is to grab some greenery. I have some small pieces here that I've already gone ahead and cut. You can actually go outside and grab some actual pieces of greenery. You can snip them off of a bush, and those should work just the same. I'm gonna grab some hot glue, and we are gonna add on these stems. So, even though we Mod Podged our other letters, I think that this is another really fun and creative way that you can decorate these letter surfaces. All right, so we're gonna add on another one. And we're just gonna keep going around with our hot glue until it is fully covered. So let's grab a little bit more glue. Let's go around. All right, so once this is done, this should look like a bird's nest. And we are going to top them off with some colored eggs that will actually be made out of wooden beads. Alrighty. It's got a little bit more to go. All right, let's trim up this piece so that it fits perfectly in this spot. So you can kind of see now what I meant by camouflaging the natural wood. So it actually looks pretty full and covered, and that true green that I picked out actually matches this fake greenery perfectly. We're gonna fill this in just a little bit more to give it a little bit more fluff. And then we're gonna add in our eggs. All right, so let's cut a few pieces off of this. And we will add these in. I think another really fun way to use these letters would be to create one of the long signs that sit at your doorstep on your front porch. And you could have the letters going straight up and down to spell out the word home, and then you can still turn your O into a wreath like what we're doing now. But instead of using the smaller letters, you could use the bigger letters. All right. So we're gonna add just a few more pieces of our greenery. So maybe here, there, right here, and there. All right, so let's grab this piece, lay it directly on top of our hot glue. And I think we'll be good with just adding in one more piece of our greenery. All right, so there we go. I think this is pretty full. I'll hold it up so that you guys can see it. And we'll add in our eggs in these little open spots right here. So I would say leave a few flat spots or a few open spots so that your eggs will lay down as flat as possible. All right, so we are going to grab some wooden beads. So these have not been painted, but I do have some that I've already gone ahead and painted for us. But I did just want to show you what they'll look like before. So these are just regular wooden beads. They do have holes on each side, but I will show you how you can disguise that. So I'm going to grab our painted beads and we'll go through the colors that I am using. So I picked out some really pretty pastel colors, and we used light pink. All of these are apple barrel colors. So I used our light pink, which is this one. I am also using Princess Purple. We also have Sunny Day. And the last color is Cloudless. But at home, this is your project. Get as creative as you would like. These are just some really pretty spring Eastery colors that I picked out that I thought would fit great with the scrapbook paper that we're using. So I'm going to grab some more hot glue and we are going to add these onto our wreath. So like I said, you want to leave a few spots open. And so we have a good spot right here. I am going to add the hot glue onto the back of our wooden bead. And I still have the holes on each side. So I'm going to lay this down. I'm going to hold it in place for just a second. Make sure that it gets good and stuck. And then I'm going to grab a little bit more hot glue. And I am going to add just a little bit onto the side of the bead where the hole is. And I'm going to push a leaf right onto it so that it gets stuck and it hides the hole. So for now, I'm only going to do that on one side because I am going to go and add another wooden bead right there. So again, I'm putting it on the back of the bead. I'm going to lay it down directly next to the other one. And so now we're hiding the other hole that was on the other side of the first bead. So we're going to do the same thing that we did with the first one. I'm going to add a little bit of hot glue onto the side where the hole is. And then I'm just going to push a leaf right next to it. And both of our holes are hidden. So we're going to repeat this step with our remaining two beads. And I think I'm going to add them here around the bottom. So same thing, a little bit of hot glue, lay it down flat as possible with a round surface. I'm going to hold it in place. Last one. So we're just going to place this right there. All right, so let's cover up this hole over here on the side. And then we're going to grab our rope and we're going to wrap this letter with it to kind of give it the effect of a bird's nest. Alrighty, so I think those are on there pretty good. I'll hold it up so that you guys can see it. I am now going to grab some of this rope that we have here. And we're going to use a little bit more of our hot glue to wrap it around and hold it in place. So I'm just going to go along the surface with some hot glue really quickly. Lay the rope down, hold it in place. And we're just going to continue to go around until it's fully covered. Alrighty, there we go. Pretty easy so far. I feel like it is. I always try to make crafts. I always try to make crafts that I feel like anyone can do. I know that I'm good, but I also know my limits, so I try to keep it as simple as possible without making it look simple. Alrighty, so we are going to cut that excess rope, and I will pull all of our letters together so that you can see what they look like before we add them onto our surface. So let's actually add just a little bit more hot glue to hold that rope down. Alrighty, so we have all of our letter surfaces covered. I will arrange them so that you guys can see what they look like. And that is them. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to grab our surface. We're going to use hot glue to attach them, and our projects will be complete. So let's bring this over. And let's add them on. So we're going to do H-O-M, and we're also going to do the E. So, of course, you want to make sure they are even and straight before you glue them. So we're just going to adjust these, line them up, make sure they are good. I think that is pretty straight, so we're just going to grab some hot glue and add them onto the back of our letters. And we're going to stick it right on there. So we have our first letter down. We're going to go ahead and repeat this with the remaining three. Alrighty. So same thing. And then I have some other projects behind me that have already been completed. I did want to show you those before we get out of here today, just to give you some extra inspiration. All right, so we have one more letter to go. And these are really, really lightweight, just so you guys know.
Bianca, you said these are the 5-inch letters?
These are our 5-inch letters, and I'm going to pull out our 8-inch letters in just a second so you can see the size difference. Alrighty, so our sign is complete. So when you finish, this is what it should look like. Before I pull out our other projects, I am going to pull our other finished one, just so you can see them side by side. So they are slightly different surfaces, but I think that that's actually really cool. We all have different breadboards, or we'll buy different breadboards, but no matter which one you pull, I think that this project will look great in the end. And actually, if you have 2 breadboards, I think that it would be really cool to put 2 different phrases that could on each one of these boards. So that is our project for today. If you guys have any questions about this one before I pull out the other ones, please let us know, and I can come back to it in just a second if I need to. Alrighty, so I'm going to set this off to the side. And I am going to pull out some of our bigger letters. So these are the 8-inch raw surfaces. And I actually have some painted smaller surfaces, and I will put them next to these so that you guys can see the size difference. So this set here was actually painted and aided to go over a crib in a nursery. So I thought that this was a really fun project idea to do with these surfaces. So these are the 8-inch letters, and these are the 5-inch letters. 2 of these letters have been painted. The other 2 have been decoupage with Mod Podge and napkins. So if you didn't want to paint them, you could also go with Mod Podging them if you didn't want to use scrapbook paper like we did in the project that we just finished. So I have another project that I wanted to pull and show you guys that I thought was really fun. I actually really love this project. And that is this. So I think this is really, really beautiful. This is another one of the 8-inch letters. And this has just been painted with treasure gold and added onto another one of our surfaces. In the back, we have some really pretty Mod Podge flowers. So I'll hold this up so that you guys can see it. I really, really love this project. I have one more that I want to show you guys. So I will grab that one. And that is this one here. So this is a really fun and cool way to combine both the 5-inch letters and the 8-inch letters together in one project. I really love this one as well. I'll hold it up so that you guys can see it. So these were just painted and added onto another wood surface with some scrapbook paper and Mod Podge in the background. So these are just a few ways that you can incorporate these surfaces into any of your home decor or any of the spring projects that you will be working on this season. Like I said, if you guys have any creative ideas that you would like to share with us, you can find us at #PlaidCrafts. Make sure you use that so that we can see it and thumbs up it. We would love to see what you guys come up with. And we will see you guys back next week for another fun craft break at 3 o'clock.